Looking for the perfect spot to unwind with friends and family? El Patrio Mexican Restaurant is calling your name. With locations in Flowood and Cross Gates, Brandon, El Patrio is the cozy, family-owned gym where great food meets great times. Enjoy El Patrio's signature margaritas and happy hour specials that keep their customers coming back for more. Indulge in their authentic Mexican dishes prepared with love and served in a warm, family-friendly atmosphere. Come to El Patrio and taste the traditions. El Patrio, where family, flavor, and fun come together. Boom, shakalaka boom. You've tuned in to the free-range human show of choice, your daily dose of reality radio. It starts right now. This is the Clay Edwards Show. I'm, of course, Clay Edwards. I am live on 103.9 FM WYAB, the mothership, the big stick, right here in central Mississippi, all the way out here from the Cotton Exchange Plaza, Highway 49, Flora, Mississippi. Pumping across the airwaves all throughout central Mississippi. And, of course, we are streaming live in stunning 4K video. If you're watching that, you can see my gorgeous fade. I don't know why I'm wearing these headphones. I'm the only person in here. I do not need to hear myself talk. Of course, yeah, we're in stunning 4K on the Save Jackson, the Save JXN, Facebook, X, YouTube, Rumble, and TikTok. Hit the share button, hit the like button. Let's just the folks tuned into this thing this morning. You know, I always get myself in the most trouble when I don't have anybody to talk to. And it's just my crazy thoughts coming out of my mouth. The Guns and Gear text line, if you want to chime in this morning, 769-241-1944. 769-241-1944. The Mazda of Jackson phone line. You want to call in this morning? Give your 2 cents on what's going on out there in the world. Maybe something I'm missing that you want to talk about. We can do that too. Bit of an open forum usually when I'm in here by myself. That phone number is 601-879-0002. I don't want to talk about Ukraine no more. Talking about Ukraine I want to do. So let's keep it on our shores this morning. Let's see here. Yesterday, went out to Grip and Grin, big monthly luncheon. If you listened to my show the other day, you heard Bruce Bartley, the head gripper and grinner, on here promoting it, talking about it. It was a good time, good turnout. The who's who in local politics was there for the most part. A few notable absentees, but hey, everybody's got other plans sometimes. Our very own Kim Wade, radio strongman, front runner for the Jackson mayoral race, was there. Kim is running as an independent, so he does not have to mess with those 20-odd, 15, 16, 17 Democrats that are running. They're going to weed themselves out and blow a lot of money in the primaries, and then in the inevitable runoff. I'll be shocked if there's not a runoff. I don't know what the betting odds would be to be a runoff, but there's going to be a runoff. And so they're going to have to waste more money. And have to waste more money on a runoff election. So, anyway, by the time they get to Radio Strongman, to the general election, they're going to be beaten, battered, bruised, and broke. And I think that's where Radio Strongman is going to excel. He's going to have a pocket full of cash. He's going to have a war chest. And he's going to have what makes him Radio Strongman. The gift of gab. So good luck to anybody that has to debate Radio Strongman. It ain't going to be pretty. They're going to be throwing in the white towel. Especially if y'all come spatting all that blackety black nonsense. Ain't going to be hearing none of that. Kim Wade said yesterday that they're going to build a new exit off the interstate in Jackson. And that's the exit to, we ain't talking about race no more. We're getting off the race hustle highway. And nobody exemplifies the race hustle more than the current mayor, Chokwe Antar Lumumba. Mr. Republic of New Africa, Mr. Black for a Living, Mr. My number one campaign contributor is a man accused of extreme racist behavior against black folks. Because I'll never forget that black folks can, in fact, be racist, too. So, just thought I'd throw that out there. The same guy. I'm going to beat this up. I'm going to beat it up. Y'all going to get tired of hearing about it. But I just want everybody to understand what a grifter Chokwe is with his race nonsense. His number one campaign contributor, other than Jody Owens and the federal government, allegedly, of course, is Terry Lovelace, a man who has been accused of atrocious, egregious racial discrimination in the workplace, nonetheless. Chokwe had no problem taking that money. No problem. But he couldn't go meet Donald Trump because we were told that Trump was a racism. But he had no problem enriching himself, taking large amounts of money from a man accused of some of those vile racism I've ever seen. Now I said accused, not confirmed, but we got to keep that same energy. Donald Trump been accused, but not confirmed. But y'all ain't got no problem believing that. There's not even a single solitary person out there in the world who can say that Donald Trump's been racist to them. But y'all just don't like Trump because we like Trump. That damn Clay Edwards likes Trump. I don't like him. I had one of you jackasses text in here one morning. Tell me, we ain't voting for Kim Wade just because you like him. Okay, let's continue to waller in misery. That'll teach Clay Edwards a lesson. We're going to keep wallowing in our own pity, misery, blood-filled streets because Clay Edwards likes a guy that would probably be the best man for the job. That'll teach him. I was listening to Joe Rogan on the way in here this morning. He was interviewing Rick Caruso, the guy that ran for mayor of Los Angeles. And he should have won, but the Democrats sent in the heavy hitters there at the end of it. They sent in Obama. They sent in Hillary. They sent in Kamala. They sent in Pelosi to go politic for this crazy black lady who clearly has no clue what the hell she's doing to be mayor. Because, you know, all they had to do was all you got to do is tell black folks, black Democrats, oh, you got to vote for your own. You got to vote for your own. You can't let this man come in here. He's going to do all these bad things, like make stuff work right. Why are y'all so scared of a city being ran right? What about that petrifies y'all? Real talk. What about the thought of Jackson, Mississippi being ran right? Scares y'all so much. Allowing the police to do their jobs, arresting criminals, paving streets, keeping the water on, keeping the garbage picked up without politicians enriching themselves in the process. I mean, what about this place being ran right scares y'all so much? I don't know, little stuff like keeping Thalia Mara Hall maintenanced and opened for the public. You know, if I'm gonna play y'all's little game and pretend that all the white people left, that the white flight was a real thing, if I'm gonna play y'all's game and say that that's true, well, then I'll say that, you know, they left y'all with a pretty nice city. I mean, everything was working. Everything worked. when they handed the keys over to you. When Harvey Johnson got the keys to Jackson, everything worked. Everybody knew how to do their job. They knew what was expected of them. And over the next 30 years, y'all didn't so much change a light bulb. But somehow that's racism's. What was it? Public Enemy had that album, Fear of a Black Planet. I just think y'all are just scared of fear of a working right planet. Just get your oil changed. Check your air conditioning filter. Make sure the exit lights are working in Thalia. The escalators, the elevators. How long has that escalator been out at the airport that the city of Jackson keeps fighting so hard for? Doors ripped off the bathrooms, stalls in the women's bathroom. I mean, under this black for a living, far left, progressive BS that's got a stranglehold on Jackson, Mississippi, nothing gets fixed. It's just ride it till it breaks. Look at the water. The water plant is the prime example, and Thalia Hall just further proves that point. They don't fix stuff. A, they don't know how. B, they keep putting people in charge just because they got a degree. Like, y'all get these degrees and then think you don't have to do nothing else. And it shows. It shows. Somebody gets a degree in gender studies, underwater basket weaving, CRT, DEI, and you put them over public works. All right, here's the keys to the city, literally. And nobody knows how to do anything. It's Tate Reeves, one of the times I agreed with Tate, called it not a water crisis, but a crisis of incompetence. And you'll never be able to convince me otherwise. I mean, the phone line's wide open. Somebody call and tell me, Clay, you wrong. Tell me why I'm wrong. You got handed the keys to a perfectly fine working city, and you jackasses have run it off a cliff. You have to maintenance things. You refuse to maintenance things. You rather spend money on DEI, woke, racist programs, these NGOs. I can't wait to see how many of Rakia's little programs, her nonprofits, are affected by this USAID money getting dried up. We're going to talk about a lot of that on the show this morning. USAID, they're it being a funding arm for the Democrats, and you know it was based on their absolute nuclear reactions to this. The Politico, the political website, news site, was getting $8 million in subscription money from the federal government. That got unplugged, and oh, look at there, they missed payroll. We're going to take a deep dive into that. We're going to talk about Chokwe's. Another year of Chokwe's campaign finance reports came out. Terry Lovelace and his utility contractors were the top donator. And like I said, other than the best I can tell, the last 4 years, we haven't seen 2021 yet. Best I can tell, the last 4 years, Terry Lovelace has been Chokwe's number one donor, either through personal or corporate donations, other than Jody Owens and the federal government, allegedly, of course, which in turn means this one man has single-handedly funded Chokwe Antar Lumumba's reign of terror and destruction over Jackson, Mississippi, and is now public enemy number one in the eyes of a bunch of people. Wow. You funded this nonsense to presumably enrich yourself through contracts. Again, presumably, assume. I do not know. I have not confirmed. I would hope that's why. Otherwise, you're just like a jackass donating that much money to this idiot while everybody else has to suffer. We got to take our first break. When we come back, more of this on the Clay Edwards Show. I want to hear from you. The Mazda Jackson phone line, 601-879-0002. I got a question of the day when I come back about Jack. For all you Jackson apologists out there, I want y'all to sell me on something. When we come back, I'll ask that question and more. The Mazda Jackson phone line, 601-879-0002. The Guns of Gear text line, 769-241-1944. Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show, live here on 103.9 FM WYAB, streaming worldwide at WYAB.com, as well as Alexa and the TuneIn app. Just search WYAB. Also in stunning 4K video at Save JXN on Facebook, X, YouTube, Rumble, and TikTok. Be sure to go watch us there. Hit the share button, hit the like button. I chop these videos up after the show and put it up in clips, different topics, different interviews, whatnot. Make it a little easier to digest so you're not just listening to 2 hours if you don't have time. Put a lot of effort into that, so I do appreciate you guys sharing that. This Sunday, several big parties to tell you about real quick. Martin's, downtown, and Livingston. I'd been getting it wrong. They're doing 2 pig roast. That's right. Madison County folks, you getting a pig roast too for Super Bowl Sunday. Out there at the all-new Livingston location. Downtown folks, you already know. You've been getting a pig roast on Super Bowl Sunday. You're getting a pig roast. It's like Oprah up in here. You get a pig roast. You get a pig roast. Everybody gets a pig roast. Courtesy of Martin's and their huge Super Bowl parties this Sunday. Both locations. Check out their Facebook pages for more information. Just search Martin's Livingston or Martin's Downtown and get all the info you need. In the meantime, don't forget to hit up Be The Location for great plate lunches and more, or just order off the menu. Calvin's Bites are always a hit. The cheese sticks are great. The ribeye gyro. That's right. They have a sliced ribeye gyro. It is phenomenal if you like sandwiches and gyros and whatnot. Then, also this Sunday, another Super Bowl party. Myself and Sean Yurkron will be hosting one out at Cypress Point Resort inside Cameron's Garage, the big sports bar out there, the largest sports bar in Rankin County. Most TVs, everything. Right there in the old McLean's Lodge off Hollybush Road. It's a massive facility. If you ain't been out there, I'm telling you, I brought a buddy of mine out there with me last week for the first time. He was like, "This is where we're going?" I was like, "Yes, sir." He had not been here in a few years. Moved out to Arizona, came back home. I said, it's called a resort for a reason. So it's not just a fancy name to make something seem bigger than it is. So y'all join us. We'll be out there starting around 11. We'll go live sometime between 11 and 12. We're going to do a live broadcast. We'll break down the Super Bowl, talk about politics, whatever. So you're going to get a free radio show podcast out of it. You know, if you can't make it, if you can, come out there, hang out with us. Southern Beverage, Bud Light, Budweiser, Mick Ultra have hooked us up with a bunch of stuff to give away. Also, there will be buckets of beer special with those beers available. They got a special menu for the day with a big potato boat bar, pulled pork sliders, pulled pork nachos, brisket. That's right, they're smoking briskets. There'll be brisket sliders available, quesadillas, hot wings, plus the full menu. So get out there. Oh, and everybody's favorite local band, Acoustic Crossroads, is going to be playing too. From, I heard 1 to 5, maybe 2 to 5, midday up till kickoff. So get done with church, come out, hang out, enjoy some live music, and then some football. going to be a heck of a day out there at Cameron's Garage, located at Cypress Point Resorts. All right. Man, you guys text in a lot. I hit some hot buttons in that last segment. I was posting a selfie on my Snapchat during the break there. I need to finish that real quick. And, got to let them know. Got to let them see my fade, man. Looking good. I'm proud of it this morning. It's 2 weeks old. And still looking this fresh. Shout out to the barber, Jonathan Boone. Good seeing Jonathan again. My the girl I've been using retired from barbering, and she went back to bartending. Shout out to Christy. Y'all go see her over at McBee's. She's bartending there again. So good stuff. Good stuff. My question of the day is this, as I type the caption on my selfie for my Snapchat stories, is this. I want y'all to sell me on why I should move back to Jackson, Mississippi. I mean, it's simple. I'm pulling your comments up on the screen here for everybody watching online. Sell Clay Edwards. Why should I move back to Jackson, Mississippi? Or why should anybody not leave Jackson, Mississippi? Like, what is the incentive to stay or return? Like, what would you sell somebody from Brandon, Madison, Pearl, Gluckstadt, Clinton, Florence, Richland? All right, I'm going to take Richland out because Richland don't even have bars. And Florence. But let's talk about places that have equal things that Jackson has, minus murder, of course. Let's look at Pearl, Brandon, Madison, Gluckstadt, Clinton, I guess. Serious talk here. I don't even want any of the smart comments about murder and all that other stuff. I'll get those in. Don't steal my thunder. Like, real talk. You're a real estate agent, or you're selling your home, and you want somebody to move. Screw the scenario. You love Jackson. Tell me why I should come back to Jackson, or tell me why somebody should not leave to go to the suburbs. And I want you to do this on the phone this morning. If you're passionate enough about it, one of you guys running for mayor, call me. Call the phone line, 601-879-0002. There's 22 of you running. Somebody sell me on why I should move back or stay in Jackson, Mississippi from the immediate area that has everything to offer that Jackson does. What would be the perk? What would be the incentive? What can I do in Jackson that I can't do in the suburbs other than potentially get killed at a gas station when a bullet was meant for Pookie? Talk to me. Phone line wide open, 601-879-0002. Crickets. So they were talking about this on Joe Rogan with the fella that ran for mayor, billionaire developer there in California, who ran for mayor. What was his name? I got it pulled up here. Rick Caruso. And they were talking about bringing businesses back. We got to bring businesses back to L.A. And Joe said, yeah, that ain't happening. And he's like, well, we're going to have to incentivize, people to come back. Let's broaden the question a little bit. Tell me why I should open a business in Jackson instead of anywhere else. Mazda Jackson phone line, 601-879-0002. So somebody let me know, what is the incentive? Is there any? You guys in the comments over here running for city council. Sell me on it. You're going to have to do it too. I mean, you're running for politics, running for office. I want to hear from you. And I don't want to hear, and I don't want to hear to come back and help rebuild something. I'm not in the rebuilding phase of my life. I've done that enough. I'm in the I want to enjoy quality of life phase of my life. I want to enjoy safe streets. I'm thinking about my grandkids part of my life now. I'm thinking about, like, are they going to have a good school? If I'm babysitting, nobody in my family's pregnant. I'm just saying, I'm thinking down the road here. My daughter's 22. I was 25 when she was born. My mom was 25 when I was born. So the next couple of years, if we keep on that track, she'll be having a kid in about 3 years, 4 years. So be thinking about, is it safe for my grandkids to come over? Can they play out in the yard without catching one of those bullets intended for Pookie? Just let me know. Mazda Jackson phone line, 601-879-0002. Y'all know the text line. I'm not reading text right now. I'm not reading your comments right now. I want to hear from you. I want somebody to sell me on why I should move back to Jackson, or why somebody should not move from Jackson. I want y'all to think about that for a minute. We ran over that last segment. I got to take another break real quick. I want some answers. This is the Clay Edwards Show. I'll be right back. Yeah, Mark says, I doubt you get any callers on that topic. I think Mark's right. Corinthian. Clay, there's no incentive now, but we got to get a good government in to shake it up. Yeah, well, I'm going to save my reaction. Till we get back on the radio. Because I believe the citizens of Jackson have made themselves quite the interesting bed. And now they need to sleep in it. They need to correct that bed before they think anybody should move back to or from. Oh, we got a caller, y'all. We got a caller. I'm going to put them on hold here. Hopefully they'll stay on hold. I like Corinthian. I like your comment about Chockway and Benny. We're going to talk about that too. I actually did a bunch of show prep, but every now and then I listen to something on the way in, and it makes me think, just like that question did. All these Jackson apologists out there got so much crap to say about people that moved away from Jackson, but they can't tell you one damn reason anybody should move back. But there's a brewery in Fondren and Belhaven now. Okay. I can come to that brewery and be back to my house in 15 minutes. But there's good food in Fondren. But we got good food in downtown Brandon. I'll put our Rankin County restaurants up against any Jackson restaurant for the most part. That ain't a knock on the Jackson restaurants either. I'm just saying that we got great food in Rankin County now. We're getting ready to come back from the break, y'all. Hang tight just a sec. Streaming worldwide, you know where. Save JXN, Facebook, X, YouTube, Rumble, and TikTok at Save JXN. We got a great community of commenters over there. So if you're watching on the live stream, you can comment, engage with other listeners. I would dare to say that from 7 to 9 a.m. every morning, it's the place you want to be. Really anytime during the day. Anytime. It's this comment section here during this live show. Because you got people from Facebook, YouTube, everywhere, all in one comment section, battling it out, so to say. I I see some conversations in this thing that I wish I wasn't on the radio and could engage in. Really good stuff there. I want to thank everybody that gets on there and comments every morning. We're going to do an ad read, but we're going to wait. We'll do it at the end of the set because we got somebody on hold here that called into the Mazda Jackson phone line, and I want to see what they got to say. Hey, good morning. You're on there.
Big Ed here, Clay. You know what I'm calling for.
I haven't watched it.
Still playing Russian roulette. Have you listened to that podcast yet?
No, I have not listened to it yet.
Well, let's put it this way, buddy. It's going to be the most important thing in you and everybody else's life to understand what he says and do what he says. It's that dangerous and it's that important. And I don't want to sound like a nag, but I am.
No. Squeaky wheel gets the grease.
I want you to be around.
Squeaky wheel gets the grease.
I want you to be around, buddy.
Hey, I'm digging through my notes now. Tell me the name of it one more time. I'm going to write it down on my top note here.
All right. The drartistshow.com 2023 podcast title, The Antidote.
The Antidote.
And, buddy, from my standpoint of view, I've listened to it 7 times, and I'll listen to it again. It's that important.
ARTIS?
Everybody that I care about. ARDIS.
DIS. All right, brother. I got it, man.
All right, buddy. I'm going to wait for you. I'm going to bug you till you listen to it.
Please do. Please do. Persistence pays.
I care about you. I love your show. I listen to you every morning on my drive into work.
Thank you, brother.
And I want to keep you around longer than I am.
Awesome.
I'm
Appreciate it.
56 years old.
All right. Thank you, brother.
Have a great day, buddy. Take care.
Yep. I'm going to have to watch that podcast. All right. I guess I'll do my ad read real quick. Stonington Farm. Today is the last day you can call in and put your orders in for that grass-fed beef. 100% grass-fed, 100% grass-finished, Mississippi raised, mRNA-free, steroid-free, antibiotic-free, grass-fed, grass-finished beef from right here in Mississippi. Go to StoningtonFarm.com. That's Stonington with 2 N's, farm.com. Place your order today. They'll be up here tomorrow delivering to the local area. They got 3 spots, Florence, Brandon, and Ridgeland. You meet them, you get your order, bam. I love the ground beef. It's affordable, and it's so good and universal. Steaks are great, too. Steak is pretty much, it is what it is, right? It's a ribeye, it's a filet, so on and so forth. Oh, their sirloin's phenomenal. Also, I like this is just me personally, and I'm going to move on. We got another caller. I like when it comes to the grass-fed stuff, I don't necessarily love the way the fat tastes on the grass-fed. That's just me. So I like the lower fat offerings that they have. Phenomenal. Your sirloin, low fat, filet, low fat. The ground beef, low fat. So, I know it's got fat that holds it together, but it works in there. And they have beef tallow. Tallow. I think is it beef tallow? Is that how you say it? They have grass-fed beef tallow also. That's been very popular here lately with Robert F. Kennedy and whatnot. So reach out to them, Stonington Farm, Stonington with 2 N's, farm.com. Go to view our cuts. You'll see a phone number there. You'll call. You'll place your order by phone. You're going to talk to the owner, Miss Katie. She's going to send you over a text picture of your invoice, and bam, she'll tell you which you'll tell her which place you're going to pick up at, and she'll let you know what time they'll be there. It's just that dang simple. Y'all enjoy that, and let's take this call here on the Mazda Jackson phone line. Hey, good morning. You're on there.
Hey, Clay, this is Val Vickery, and I'm a consultant with Jacksonians for Jackson.
Uh-huh.
I was getting ready for the day and heard your question, and I want to answer you.
Oh, thank goodness.
Well, I live in Jackson. I have lived all of my adult life, 99% of my adult life, in Jackson, Mississippi, and I believe passionately that the state needs a vibrant capital city. 2 years ago, for the first time ever, I got deeper involved than just voting. And what I have learned has been heartbreaking but positive. We've got some good people in this city, and we've got some fighters in this city, and we're saying, no, you can't have us. We're not for sale. We're going to do something. And on February the 22nd, Jacksonians for Jackson has been gifted with a venue at Dewling Hall in Fondren. And from 11 until 2 that day, citizens can come and talk to every one of the mayoral candidates and say, why should I vote for you? What can you do to restore good drinking water, good roads, stopping the crime, potholes, trash pickup. It's not a Democrat or Republican issue. It is common sense. It is integrity. I say that there's 4 different words that describe who we need for mayor. And those are, we need safety, we need competence, we need integrity, and we need dependability. And let's look for the candidate that has those 4. And I've identified a few, and I will probably be coming out public before this is over and saying what I discovered in the past 2 years. But we have lots of interest. I mean, you can laugh about the number of candidates for city council and for mayor, or you can say, wow, Jackson is waking up. And we're just tired of people outside the city rolling their eyes and saying, oh, Jackson, come on, help us. If you don't live in Jackson, you know somebody who does, tell them to vote. Tell them what you're considering, why you're voting for who you are. I didn't mean to go on a rampage, but this is kind of dear to my heart.
Well, no, I mean, look, I get it, but here's the thing. People outside the city, they have helped, and they have done a lot, and they have been shunned and called racist and everything else for trying to give their 2 cents or even donate money to candidates, and it just has not worked. And the people in Jackson, for the most part, the majority, let me say the majority of Jackson does not appreciate it. They don't want it, and they enjoy living in the squalor that they've gotten themselves in.
I disagree with you considerably. Only 13,000 people voted for the mayor the last time. Apathy, yes. Ignorance, yes. But there has been an effort to wake the voters up. And, a little bit too much, a little bit too little too late could be said. Or it could say, when there's no place to go but up, you start looking up. And we need cheerleaders. Everybody likes an underdog story, a story of success, people that don't think it could ever happen. And that's where I think we are. We're at the bottom, and we're looking up, and we're praying a lot, and we're not just the only thing for evil to prevail is for good people to do nothing and say, oh, yeah, it's too late, it's too late. That's what happened with Gideon and his forces of 300. They won by being strategic. And we want your help. We want your help as being a spokesman. Quit saying we can't do better. We can. And we will.
We're going to have to prove it.
That's true.
I mean, look, and I know I sound like I'm throwing the baby out with the bathwater. I know there's good people like yourself doing work in Jackson. I try to make that point clear all the time. Because even though I moved 3 years ago, I still consider myself one of those people. But I also know how I was treated and all that good stuff that forced me into the position I'm in. Because I did stay. I wasn't one of the people who I didn't. Let me finish. I'm not one of the people who flew my butt out of Jackson 20 years ago when I could have. I stayed and thought I was fighting the good fight. They don't want nobody. They don't want nobody shoulder to shoulder with them fighting the good fight unless you're agreeing with everything they say, unless you blame everything on racism and blame anything that's wrong with the city on the state not giving them money, unless you 100% buy into their Democrat death culture BS. They don't want you here with them, and I'm afraid there ain't enough good people to outvote the stupidity.
Well, I disagree with you.
I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, I've been meeting those good people. I really have. And on the 22nd of February, there's an opportunity for a lot of people to meet the good people and to see that we are looking at things through a different lens. I've heard I've lived here too, all of my adult life. I understand that there has been a narrative that's been out there, and yet there have not been a spokesman for the right kind of thinking people, and they're here, I promise you. And there's some of them that are running for mayor that are worth paying attention to. I hope you'll get them on your show.
Yeah, I mean, look, we have a policy here, and this isn't me being sound like a smart ass. We have a policy here that we charge political candidates. Anybody that wants to pay the fee is welcome to come on, because if we don't charge one, we have to let all do it for free, and then it just takes over. It's just too much. I mean, that's the radio station policy, not Clay Edwards. But it's $250 for an hour. If people got enough people that want to support them, pull the money together, come on, and we can go longer than an hour sometimes. Usually, I don't care. We go 2 hours if they're interesting enough.
Well,
but people need to. If people can't, you got to be able to. People got to commit behind somebody and run a campaign and do it. I think Kim's offering to let other candidates come on his show since he's running. Yeah. I don't know if they're charging or not, but to come on this one because I'm not running. It's not a trade-off. They'll have to pay to come on. But I'm going to host an event, too. I'm working on that now. Talked about it this morning with my partner. So, look, I got to take my break. Val, thank you so much for listening, and thank you for calling this morning. Hope you get to prove me wrong.
Okay, me too. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, we'll be right back. All right, so good phone call. She didn't give me a reason why I should stay or come back, but I do appreciate her passion. But unfortunately, she's just fighting an upstream battle. The forces of evil have a death grip over Jackson, Mississippi. Very evil spirits have a death grip over this city. Kim Wade, I think, is where I got the Democrat death culture quote from. I'm almost positive. We're going to credit it to him. And that's what it is. It's a Democrat death cult. I mean, it's like the leaders of this city have a suicide pact to take it down no matter what. I'm convinced. The things they do and the things they've done to get the city in the shape that it's in, they're not accidents. It's by design. I mean, to the point that they're even willing to go to prison to make sure this city is destroyed. I mean, y'all think about this. Angelique Lee, most likely going to prison. She's a convicted felon. Unless she can sign enough, she's going to prison. Aaron Banks, if found guilty, going to prison. He ain't even running for office again. Chokwe, most likely going to prison. Aaron Banks, most likely, not Aaron Banks, Jody Owens, most likely going to prison. And who knows what else? Who knows what potential contractors that donated to Chokwe to steer contracts their way, allegedly, of course, could end up going to prison. All they had to do was do the right thing. But they were so dead set on enriching themselves and destroying Jackson that they were willing to risk it all. While y'all got nothing. Nothing. Death and despair. Couldn't even keep your water running. Couldn't keep your garbage picked up. One of the disbursements on Chokwe's campaign finance reports was he paid himself $400. And the reason was reimbursement for picking up garbage. This man paid himself $400 to go pick up garbage that he was the reason it wasn't getting picked up. Tell me where the lie is at. Now, I appreciate Miss Val. I respect her. But I am going to stand my ground. You know, we ain't going to bend the knee just to be respectful. We ain't going to do it. And again, man, there's a lot of great business owners in Jackson. There's a lot of good people. I'm not talking to y'all. Well, we need y'all's help, but I just assume we already got y'all's help. I assume the good people are already doing the right thing. You know, maybe I'm assuming too much. I assume the good business owners. I'm really disappointed. Per usual, welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show. Here live on WYAB. We got about a minute left of this segment here before the top of the hour break. I was just ranting online, and I said this. I don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. I know there's good people in Jackson. I know there's good business owners in Jackson that want to do the right thing. And when I'm ranting and raving, I just assume y'all are already doing the right thing. You're already on our side. But I am going to say, I'm highly, highly disappointed in that nonsense that came out of Jeff Good and them's meeting the other day with saying they spoke to all the candidates when they did not. And then they landed on John Horn of all people. Good luck with that. 4 more years of the same thing as far as I'm concerned. We'll be right back. All right, I'm going to ride with y'all through this break. Let's catch up with some of your comments. I'm just going to start at the bottom, the most recent one, and work my way up. And I meant what I said to y'all a minute ago, too, on the air about the comment section here. Let me do this. I am very appreciative. I am very appreciative of you guys and girls for getting on here every morning. Corinthian says, well, maybe I need to start with this one. Looks like a two-parter. It's definitely a culture here that is in control, but it is fueled by the reverse racism of blacks and the refusal of holding themselves accountable because it proves guilt. Then you have the demonic ACLU waiting to sue every opportunity to stir the ship in the right direction. 100%. 100%. I love when black folks say that and they recognize that because I see it and I've known it for a long time. The sausage peddler, Roger, says, I said it from the start of this. He's doing everything he can to put it off on Jody. And I got a text from Roderick on the Guns of Your text line that says, oh, the young N-word, and Roderick's black, but he still calls other black people the N-word, looks like he might get off and got y'all all hot and bothered. Don't nowhere near look like he's about to get off. Looks like we got all the evidence that he's 100% guilty AF. Guilty AF. Steve says, Kim Wade had the room yesterday. He could run for any mayor in any city and win. He could. The problem is yesterday, now we need those people to donate and raise money. But I think the only person in that room that could vote in Jackson was the girl that was with me. I mean, Andy Gibson was sitting right behind me at Grip and Grin. He was hooting and hollering. He loved what Kim had to say. He was connecting. Kim at Grip and Grin yesterday was connecting. Will that connect in Jackson? We need to get an event going on like that in Jackson, and I'm going to make that happen. I'm going to make a few phone calls when I get off the radio today and lock in a date at a venue in Jackson, and I'm going to invite everybody running for mayor. And we're going to do a town hall type thing. And we're going to be fair. I'm going to invite a couple other moderators, black, Democrat, gay, women, whatever. But we're going to ask some tough questions. We're going to give people a chance to answer them. We're going to let the public ask questions. We're going to use this platform for something other than just a radio show. Shopping center owner, or bringing the rollback dumpsters to make it a dump site. It got turned into what looked like a damn landfill that who got to clean up? Who did the city send their people out there and say, oopsie, our bads. We'll fix it. We'll get our guys to clean it up. No problem. No. The shopping center owner had to clean up what looked like a damn landfill because Ashby Foote announced that Colonial Mart was a dumping place. They should have dumped it all in his yard. On that alone, I could never get behind Ashby Foote. Corinthians says, now we're going back a little bit here. This is about 15 minutes ago, 20 minutes ago. Boom goes the dynamite. We're back live. Hour 2 of the most incendiary show on all of the radio and, of course, the internet. And if we're number one on the radio and we're number one on the internet, then you know we're number one in Jackson. This is the Clay Edwards Show. I'm, of course, Clay Edwards, streaming worldwide at WYAB.com, pumping across the airwaves at 103.9 FM, and in stunning 4K video, I am this morning on Save JXN, Facebook, X, YouTube, Rumble, and TikTok. We got quite a colorful conversation going on in the comment section on our live stream. So if you're on Facebook or YouTube or any of those, you can go partake in that there. I've got the comments pulled up on the screen so everybody can see them from all the different platforms. This segment is going to be brought to you by our good friends over at Ellis Autoplex. Goodbye. I see Casey and the team today. Highway 471, right over there in Rankin County, Mississippi. Technically, it's Flowood, but I call it Brandon. It's down there close to Highway 25, right across the street from I think that's Fryerson's and the Back Porch Crawfish Shack. But it's Ellis Autoplex. You can check them out online, ellisautoplex.com. They're the home of the four-door, four-wheel drive pickup truck in Jackson, Mississippi, and the surrounding areas. No other lot focuses so specifically on four-door, four-wheel drive, pre-owned, mainly F-150s. But they do Chevys and Dodges and stuff too. But if you're looking for a pre-owned, late-model F-150, you really look no further than Ellis Autoplex. I mean, they've got every trim level. Casey and his team know what they're doing. They know all the problems these trucks have. They take care of them before they sell them, so you're not buying a problem. They recon properly. And they do good business. But hey, they also have cars and SUVs too. They ain't just F-150s. They got Silverados and Tahoes and everything else. Swing by, check them out. Don't forget, we beat it up a lot, but I'd like y'all to know, they buy cars. If you're getting ready to sell your car, don't waste your time on Facebook Marketplace. God forbid, Craigslist. Swing by Ellis. Let them put a number on it for you. Heck, maybe you're going to trade it in at one of the bigger dealerships, one of the new car dealerships, and you don't know what it's worth. Swing by there. Let them put a number on it for you so you got a good number of what it's worth. And if that dealership can't get right, take it back, sell it to them, and then just go buy that other vehicle. But at least you have it. Like, so many people try to figure out what their vehicle's worth, and they get online and they get these ridiculous numbers, and then they look like idiots when they go and go, well, Car Gurus said it was worth this amount. Yeah, well, Car Gurus don't buy cars, at the end of the day. So go get a real number on it and use that to go shopping. And what you're going to find out is he's paying the best money. And you're going to take it back, then you're going to sell it to him. And then you can take that money and go buy whatever. Or you can say, hey, you know what? I like the way this guy does business. I'm just going to buy another vehicle from him. Unless you're just one of these people who only buy new cars, which I get that too. I hope to one day be in that territory. All right, that's ellisautoplex.com. Check them out online or in person on Highway 471. And hey, they are doing major automotive repairs now too. So if you're looking for a shop to work on your stuff, especially you F-150 guys, they know F-150s better than anybody else outside of a Ford dealership. And you ain't going to have to pay dealership prices. So if you got an F-150 and you got a problem, I highly recommend Ellis Autoplex to check it out, especially on the EcoBoost. Anyway, food for thought. Guns and Gear text line, 769-241-1944. I got to read some of your text here. The Mazda Jackson phone line, 601-879-0002. All right, let me pull up the text machine here. A lot of good stuff on the comment section there. Corinthian Sanders is on fire this morning, but he's always on fire. Corinthian's running for Ward 7 councilman in Jackson. So let's see here. Unknown texter says people like the mayor want to get public notice when something is done. which is why they don't do the little things such as maintenance on Thalia Hall at the airport. They wait for things to get so bad that then they can come in as the hero and fix it and have a public meeting about it and get on TV and let everybody know that they were here and got it fixed, even though it should have been fixed 5 years ago. Also, the Black for a Living people have a complex syndrome about how they also want someone else to fix their problems. No matter how big or small, they want someone else to take care of it, and then they'll take the credit. My goodness, I could not have said it better myself. Do I have a twin out there sending text into this show as somebody else? Get out of my head. Yeah, it's the whole you can't start the fire and then get credit for putting it out theory. And that's what Chokwe, and it ain't just Chokwe, he's just the problem here. So that's why I focus on him here. He's the problem. What's that Taylor Swift? It's me, I'm the problem. Wasn't that a big song for her or something? Hey, it's me, I'm the problem. Chokwe, look in the mirror. Hey, it's you, you're the problem. He creates the issues and then tries to swoop in and fix it, which he never does. Somebody inevitably has to come in and fix his problems, fix the city of Jackson's problems. And then he gets on there and tries to take credit for it. Like, I'm loving this beef right now between him and the state fire marshal, because I've dealt with the state fire marshal. When I had Club Crazy 8 out there in Byron, we did a lot of big concerts, which, by the way, I'm getting back in the concert business, and I got a big announcement here, maybe tomorrow, maybe Monday at the latest. That's right, yeah. Bringing a rock show to town. Getting back in the concert business. The bug bit me. Anyway, it was after the Rhode Island, the Great White Concert in Rhode Island, where all those people tragically died. Our state fire marshal at the time, this would have been 2001, 2, that time frame, maybe as late as early 2003. Trying to remember my timeline here. It would definitely would have been 02, 03. We brought Third Eye Blind to Jackson. God, if I'd known what liberal dip idiots, nut jobs they were at the time, I would have never brought them to town either. But neither here nor there. Big concert, a lot of production that we squeezed out there. After we expanded Crazy 8, we built that massive stage, and we could do some of the biggest acts in town because we had the space to do the production. The state fire marshal comes in because, like I said, this is within a couple of weeks of the Rhode Island Great White tragedy. And, man, they tear my venue apart with a fine-tooth comb. They make us show them, like, the smoke machines. And unfortunately, these guys at the time at the state fire marshal's office were older white guys. This just wasn't their thing. They didn't really understand this, and I'm not knocking them. Maybe they were really good at their jobs. They were very qualified. Yeah, but we were having some ridiculous conversations about having to explain a fog machine. But we passed. And they were looking for every reason to not let us open the venue that night. One problem we weren't going to have was overcapacity. Lost a lot of money on that show. We didn't even reach our capacity. So they definitely weren't going to get us for too many tickets sold. But anyway, so I've worked with them in that capacity before, doing big concerts at times, doing outdoor shows. Our very own Chip Matthews has done a bunch of concerts here locally. I mean, big outdoor festivals and stuff. You got to work with the state fire marshal. You have to do what they say, and it's non-negotiable. And you know that. So watching Chokwe go through this with them and act like they're somehow the fire safety law is somehow racist. It's funny. It's truly funny. Anybody that's ever had to deal with the fire marshal, you know dang well that as extensive and even what seems ridiculous as those laws may be, they're just there to protect everybody. And you know they're not negotiable. They're not racist. That's just part of the deal. That's why I find it so funny that Jackson Fire Department, we got a bunch of firemen that listen to this show. God knows I love y'all. You're unsung heroes. But in your C-suite, your corporate suite, you got some idiots too. And I just find it funny that they have a fire department here that goes out and does these inspections for local businesses, and they can't somehow work with the people that they work for at the Hayamara Hall to get it right so they can pass a fire inspection. It's mind-boggling to me. The city can't pass a fire inspection at one of its premier venues, but they have the audacity to send the fire department out to pass or fail other businesses locally to decide if they can open or stay open or not. All the hypocrisy. But that's Lumumba land that we live in here. It goes back to the original point of just letting things run till the wheels fall off. Chokwe Lumumba and these black for a living Democrats in general remind me of a girl driving an '06 Altima that's never changed the oil. Tires got metal showing. Never washed it. Nothing. And then it blows up and the tires blow out simultaneously. And she's all on Facebook, big mad, big sad, blaming it on the dealership. They sold me a bad car. No, you bought that car 3 years ago. Run it through every pothole in town. Ain't done nothing but put gas in it. You broke that car. And now, because you ain't never done any work to it, that car's basically totaled out. Because you didn't go get a $50 oil change. You didn't go spend a couple $100 on some tires. But I bet I know what she does have. I bet she got on some $200 shoes, a $500, $600, $700, $800 purse, $500 to $1,000 in weave, extensions, whatever. I'm talking about black and white girls here. It's the same thing. It's prioritizing the wrong things. Because it don't matter how fresh you look. If you can't get your butt to where people are at because your car broke, ain't nobody going to see it. But that's what they do in Jackson. They spend money on things they don't need to spend it on. I got a buddy of mine did some contract work for JPS. And he told me about the lavish offices that they have. The money that they've spent on furniture in these offices should be criminal. The money that they've wasted at JPS on these offices. And I'm going to guess that it ain't exclusive to JPS, that you could walk in the mayor's office and it's probably the same thing. It looks like a billionaire boys club. Meanwhile, the red lights don't even work. Now, I know they've been working on them, but they waited till they broke to work on them. Let's take a call real quick before we go to break on the Mazda Jackson phone line. Hey, good morning. You're on there.
What's up, Clay?
Hey, brother.
Hey, listen, quick story about Jackson Fire Department. I have a food truck, and a couple years ago, I did the St. Patty's Day Parade. And while all the vendors are out there getting set up, two guys from Jackson Fire Department pull up on a golf cart and tell me that I had to have a fire inspection certificate. And I think it was like $75 or $100, and they would gladly accept cash. And
yeah, that's something new. That corruption is something new that has started since I closed my business. But I've heard from hundreds of people about the code enforcement and the fire people just taking their $75, $100 cash and just leaving you alone. But they don't give you your permit; they just leave you alone.
And you know, they did not look inside the truck.
Paint me shocked.
Yeah, they just said, pay the fee. They gave me a certificate. And then I called the promoter and said, hey, did you know about this? And he had no idea. So they just saw an opportunity to shake down about 200 vendors. And if you've ever noticed at the St. Patty's Day parade, inside where the official parade is, you have to pay to be a vendor. People line up all down State Street and kind of, they're kind of like unofficially street vendors.
Mm-hmm.
They set up tents, and they don't pay the fee to the promoter to get in here. And the fire department did not shake them down.
Interesting.
Yeah. And so then the next year, and I kept that certificate and I laminated it. And the next year, same thing. They pulled up on the golf cart and I just held it up, said, "Yeah, I already got mine." And they said, "Okay," and went on about their way.
That's funny. Well, the same thing they did to the gun shows. They found a way to run them out of here. That's Jackson, cut off his nose despite his face. The deadliest city in America, and they worried about the gun show over there. And I like gun shows. I get all that. I'm not a debate about gun shows here, but it was just something else that drove tax dollars to Jackson, that supported a Jackson business out there, a venue that now lost a huge event to Rankin County. Rankin County gun violence ain't gone up since the gun shows moved out there.
Yeah,
point being, it ain't the gun shows. They're not the problem.
No,
but Jackson Fire Department came out there and they shook down all those vendors that time.
Well, they'll find a way to ruin the St. Patty's Day parade. You give another 10 or 20 years, and that won't be a thing.
Hey, you give it that long?
Well,
I went last year.
It's a pretty big event.
Well, it's been on the downturn. I mean, I went last year and had a really good time. Like Martin's and them, the street parade, they do a phenomenal job, and I want it to be successful because I want to see those people do well. I want to see all the Jackson business owners that benefit from the parade do well. I mean, that's why I've started back going and and trying to enjoy it and stuff. But I kind of stay in my little area. But it was just as soon as you turn down Capitol Street or Pearl Street, right down there, where the Jacksonians had mounted up, it turned into an absolute crap show, twerk fest, fight, everything else that you would never want your family to see. Look, man, nobody likes a big booty shaking more than Clay Edwards. I promise. I am not a hater of the twerk. I mean, I like that stuff. Don't get me wrong. I'd be lying if I said otherwise. And most would other guys if they're being honest. But you know what? At a family-friendly parade, it ain't the place for it.
Well, it used to be a family-friendly parade.
Yeah, and there's always been fights and stuff at the parade, but man, like the overt sexual stuff out in public now that's just allowed. I mean, speaking of Jackson Fire Department, one of my buddies is a Jackson fireman. They took over their fire truck and started dancing on it, swinging on it, twerking on it, and everything, and they couldn't even get through, and they were trying to get somewhere. Anyway, I digress. Irrelevant to the point, but thank you for calling in. That's right on brand for Jackson.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, brother. I got to take my break, man.
Thanks, Clay. Have a good one, buddy.
You too. Good stuff there. The Mazda Jackson phone line, 601-879-0002. Guns and Gear text, 769-241-1944. Y'all be sure to get out to Guns and Gear today and get all you need on the guns and ammo side of things. And, of course, they got all your accessories as well. And they can take care of all your gunsmithing and Cerakoting too. And did you know, just like Ellis Autoplex buys cars, they buy guns. In a bind, need to get out from under one, need to pay the bills, whatever the case may be. Swing by Guns and Gear. Hunting season's over. Don't need that extra shotgun, rifle, whatever anymore. Swing by Guns and Gear. Let them put a number on it for you, make you an offer on it. We'll be right back on the Clay Edwards Show. So it's just my point is I'm fed up. And I want y'all to be as fed up as I am. And I want y'all to see what I see through my lens here. And I know a lot of you are. And when I say y'all, I'm talking to the people who don't. I hope y'all understand that. Like, I talk the way I talk. And I make the little short form videos on TikTok and Instagram like I do because I'm talking to a bunch of knuckleheads that don't understand how the real world works. And that we ain't all got to just go along with this stuff. The crap they were taught in school and the crap that they hear in their little circle We ain't all going to bend the knee, and we ain't about that life. Some of us fight back. Some of us say, no. No, shawty. People don't hear the word no enough. No, we ain't doing that. I mean, it's just that damn easy. A bunch of shout bus shawties running this damn city right into the ground. I'm checking my Snapchat. See, I posted a selfie on there. Now I'm seeing who's liked it, who's looked at it. Multitasking over here this morning. Good morning to my friend Lanessa there in the comments. Lanessa's a good chick, man. She turned her life around. Very proud of her. I don't think she'll mind me saying that. My buddy Dredd, good dude right here, says, didn't all the firemen quit in Jackson at one point in the last 10 years or so? Something happened. The leadership there is a problem. Now, we got some good firemen out there. I don't like to name all the names because, when I start naming people who work for the city, then when I get information, people start assuming that those people I've named are my sources. They usually are, So I got to be careful about that. But shout out to the firemen out there, just like shout out to JPD. When I talk all that crap about JPD, I'm not necessarily talking about the boots on ground cops. There are some dipshits. There are some absolute diversity hires in both JPD and JFD that have no business being cops or firemen. No sense. All right. Somebody put a little fire emoji by my selfie. I'll have to do some investigating and see who that is. I'm kidding. Anyway, Super Bowl Sunday, man. Y'all be sure to get out to Cypress Point, Cameron's Garage, big sports bar out there. Come hang out with me and Sean. Just figure noon until. It's going to be a lot of fun stuff going on. We'll be broadcasting live. Come sit down, do the podcast with us. Be fun. All right, we're about to come back from the break. Breaking rules when necessary. I think today, like if people asked you, like, explain, like nobody that's ever listened to the Clay Edwards show and you want to try to explain to them this show, I think today's episode is a great summary of what this show's all about. It really is. I think we have stuck to our foundation today. We played the hits today. I was talking to somebody last night, and I brought up the point. I said, man, sometimes I feel like I'm so ahead of the news cycle, because this is what I keep up with, that by the time a big story becomes very popular and in the mainstream, I don't want to talk about it anymore because I feel like I've already done that 3 days ago. And I try to be ahead of the curve. And sometimes I forget that I'm not my audience, y'all are. And I got to play the hits. So I'm trying to get back to the basics a little bit here. And dragging my pecans across Chalkway is definitely back to the basics. Let's take a call, shall we? Mazda Jackson phone line. Hey, good morning. You're on there. Well, that didn't last long. Caller, call back. 601-879-0002. Man, I really tell you what, I'm really, really glad we got the streaming thing going on the video. A shout out to the Yurt Karan law firm. My buddy Sean Yurt Karan, my co-host here. Sean underwrote that expense for us. He's a very big, important part of this show. Even though he ain't on here every day, I believe that this show has seen huge growth since Sean came on board, and I know it's been good for him as well. So he didn't ask for credit, but I want to make sure y'all know that this video stuff wouldn't be possible if it had to been for Sean. So definitely appreciate that. And it's opened up a whole new world of possibilities for us and being able to stream it online and whatnot. So good stuff there. If y'all need an attorney, a defense attorney, that I can't recommend Sean Yerkeron enough. If you've gone and gotten yourself in trouble, he don't sue. He don't do lawsuits. You'll have to see somebody else for that. But if you've gotten in trouble with the law, Sean Yerkeron is who you need to call. I don't give phone numbers out on the radio because nobody remembers them. But you can either find him or find me, and I'll get you his contact information. But anyway, let's see here. The text line. I've been preaching it all day, and I don't think I've read but one text. That was a really good text, though. Let's read one from an angry Jacksonian that doesn't like me. Oh, Roderick. Let's see here. Well, I got somebody else's pulled up first. I'm just going to read this one first. Unknown texture says, "You're absolutely right on this one. Had one of those engineers for Jackson Water Uber with me to the airport. He said the problem was, quote, misappropriation of funds and a whole lot of, quote, when you run this place, you push this button, not that button." That's circling back to what we were talking about earlier on in the show about them running the water plant into the ground on purpose and through incompetency. It's like when they – see if I can paint a picture here of how this incompetency works. It's incompetency by design. I don't think it's any secret out there that the Biden regime was trying to have President Trump assassinated before he could win the election. I think we all know that. If not assassinated, they wanted him in jail. But we're going to go to the assassination card here. I do not believe on any level that the guy that shot President Trump and got his pronouns changed to were, whatever it was funny. He passed tense because he's dead. I do not believe that the FBI, the CIA, the Secret Service, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, or anybody like that was working with this guy by any stretch of the imagination. They have people who can do this stuff. They could have used drones. They could have done anything. It would have been too obvious. What they knew was, I bet this guy was on their radar, is you got a bunch of lunatics out there. And sometimes you just got to set a good mousetrap. And you can get those lunatics to come straight to you. A honeypot. Y'all know what I'm saying here. They knew that if they left the back door open long enough, and it just looks like DEI incompetence in the Secret Service, not willful, but it is willful ignorance, but not direct complicit interaction. They knew that somebody would eventually walk through that back door, that somebody, oopsie, left open. The roof of that building is my back door in this analogy. They knew that if they just screwed it up enough, that one of these nut jobs that by no mistake, or make no mistake, they activated these nut jobs. They created these nut jobs through mainstream media, through brainwashing on social media, this constant barrage of Trump's a racist, Trump's a racist, Trump's a racist, Nazi, 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 et cetera, that he's going to do all these bad things to the transes people, that one of them, because obviously they're crazy, one of them were eventually going to walk through that back door and try to kill Trump. And that's exactly what happened. And they just brush it off as, oopsie, it was a mistake. We'll just fire somebody over it. But make no mistake, it was by design. They knew it was going to happen. They just didn't know when and where. But they knew with these outdoor events that eventually somebody was going to try to do something. Now I'm going to take that, because I know y'all think I just jumped down a crazy rabbit hole there, and I'm going to bring it to the Jackson water, and just Jackson in general, but the water plant in particular. It's no secret that Jackson's got water problems. It's got an aging water system. Most major metropolitan cities do. Older cities like Jackson that have been ran by Democrats forever because they don't fix anything. Chokwe knew, for better or for worse, that if we just run this thing into the ground on purpose, we just run it into the ground, somebody will have to fix it. Somebody will have to fix it. It may be the state. It may be the feds. But they're not going to let the city go without water. And that's exactly what they did. This was not an accident. It was 100% by design, what happened at the water plant. And they just knew you run it into the ground, you scream racism, somebody will fix it. And you'll never convince me otherwise. And some people will even say it was a smart play. I've seen some of the Black for a Living folks defend it and say it was a smart play. They think he's smart for doing that. Think he's an absolute idiot. And there was ways to get the money without having to destroy the system to do it. And then strap it on all the taxpayers in Mississippi and, of course, federally, nationwide. So Jackson's getting his water fixed. But look, let me tell you this. He wasn't doing it. He was not doing it because he wanted Jackson's water fixed. That's not what this was about. You know, I could almost get on board if like his intentions were pure. Well, you know what? At least we got water. At least the water's getting fixed, right? You could almost sell me on that. But his intentions were to get that money and to be in charge of how it got divvied out for contracts to do the work. And I think, in my opinion, crazy guy on the radio's opinion, I think those campaign finance report donations show exactly that. It was promises made that he wasn't able to keep. So when the feds came in and put JXN Water and Ted Hennepin over all of it, that screwed up the whole thing. Screwed the whole thing up. Now you got a bunch of contractors out there that have probably made contributions, been promised a lot of things. Now Chokwe and Rakia can't follow through on. That's why his sister, of all people, is down there in federal court arguing with Judge Wingate about the Black citizens of Jackson deserve to have a say in who fixes their water, over who gets this money. The Black citizens of Jackson deserve to have other Black people fixing our water. The Black citizens of Jackson, overwhelmingly, I'm going to speak for them for a second here, don't give two double Dutch Fs. Who fixes the water as long as it gets fixed? Nobody, except maybe Brad Franklin, Rakia Lumumba, and Chokwe, especially Brad Franklin, are sitting at their faucet, pouring water or filling up a bathtub, thinking to themselves, I sure hope Black people are the reason why this water's working. We'll be right back. Real talk, as the kids say. Like, you know, I don't get, since all white people that moved from Jackson, according to Lumumba and a bunch of dumb Jacksonians, are supposedly racist. And I guess since I am a former Jacksonian and I moved from Jackson, I'll speak for those people too here. When I turn my water faucet on, and I even have a water filter on my faucet, by the way. I don't trust I don't trust the water in Rankin County no more than I do in Jackson. I don't think to myself at all for even a second, I sure hope the guy that is responsible for this water coming through these pipes, that dug the ditch, that did the work, I sure hope it was a white guy. I ain't drinking this water, and if it wasn't, I'll go to Jackson and get my water. What was the whitest crew out there digging this hole? Who had the whitest contractor fixing their water, building this water plant? That's the water I want. Now, those thoughts have never crossed my mind. I've never correlated race and water together. Not once, not a single time till just now, because that's what they did. That's their excuse. I mean, that is literally, I'm not making this up. You can go read the court filings. Kingfish did a bunch of really good work on his site. Rakia, Chakwe's sister, which tells you all you need to know. Why is his sister, a non-city employee, not an attorney for the city, why is she down there? Why is her group, the Poor People's Campaign, or whichever one it is, why is she down there fighting for control of the water? It's because, in my opinion, they had made a lot of promises. They done spent that money in their head. All the money they were going to get from contributions and kickbacks, allegedly, of course. And now they can't do it. It ain't happening. It ain't happening. I need to go look at the timeline. I don't want to just say this and be wrong, so I'll put an asterisk beside it. My timeline may be off, but I see when the water contract hit, like the water money got confirmed, and Ted Hennepin versus when he took that money on that boat. That may have been a desperation money grab there, because the water money wasn't going to go the way he thought. I'm just saying. That's speculating on my end. I'm throwing poop against the wall here. Or maybe he's just that greedy that he thought he was going to get both. All right, we're getting ready to come back from break. Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show. This segment brought to you by Home Hearing Healthcare. Dr. Carrie Tilly Snyder at Home Hearing Healthcare has qualified audiologists who can help you navigate all the options to ensure you select the best hearing aids for your lifestyle, budget, and cosmetic preference. Whether you're in a crowded restaurant or sitting in a church, new hearing devices can help you hear what is most important, no matter where you are. If you're looking to upgrade your current hearing aids or considering them for the first time, visit homehearinghealthcare.com to schedule your appointment today. Do you have to turn up the radio? Turn up the volume on the radio or TV? Is it difficult to hear in loud places like restaurants? Do you have to constantly turn to the left or to the right based on which ear you can't hear out of to hear somebody speak? God knows I do. I feel bad for the people that are around me the most, because the word that comes out of my mouth more than any others, say that again? I guess as I'm reading this, I'm saying to myself, Clay, you need to schedule an appointment at Home Hearing Healthcare with Dr. Carrie Tilly Snyder, which I will do when I get off the phone here today, as a matter of fact. So y'all check them out, homehearinghealthcare.com. What's up? I guess nobody else wants to call and explain to me why. Nobody wants to advocate for Jackson and tell me why I should move back. What is the incentive for me to move back to Jackson? Or take me out of the equation? Anybody. What's the incentive to move back to Jackson, or the incentive to stay in Jackson? Like, what do you sell people on? And I don't want to hear, God bless you folks. I ain't trying to be mean, but I don't want to hear to be a part of the rebirth, to be a part of the fixing, because I waited for that for 30 years and that never happened. We were promised that with every new mayor. And unless Kim Wade wins, that's all you're going to get is more of the same. More of the same. That John Horn. What's John Horn done? Real talk. He going to sell everybody on, I got relationships at the Capitol. I'm going to get us some money. I got relationships at the Capitol. Well, you there now and ain't done nothing. What you going to do when you gone? Real talk. Yeah, ain't done nothing for Jackson now. But somehow, it's like Joe Biden been in politics for as long as he has, and what's going to suddenly change? You ain't done enough. I don't even want to talk about half the other people. I think David Archie would be okay. I know he's wild. I like David. Just for entertainment purposes, if nothing else, I want to see David Archie versus Kim Wade. I mean, I hope David Archie wins the Democrat primary. And I ain't, the Republicans ain't winning. They're not winning. The guys that chose to run as Republican, you're not winning. You don't have a chance. But Kim's running as an independent. You got David Archie running as a Democrat. I can live with David. I mean, even if David beat Kim, I can live with David. He's a bull in a china shop. He got that Trump mentality. But that ain't what Jackson needs. Personally, in my humble opinion, I think Jackson needs somebody who can be a bull in a china shop and a driver of economic impact. Anyway, we just need somebody to follow the rules and not the ones set by the progressive nut jobs. But I'm going to put an event together here soon, very soon, and I'm going to invite everybody out. Everybody that's running for mayor. And maybe we can tie in some of these council people too. There's some people that I find very interesting that are running for council. Maybe we can figure out a way to make that work. We'll see. And we're gonna give people a chance to explain. I mean, look, we're gonna do our part. We're gonna do our part to save Jackson. I'm just going to check out some of your text here. I was trying to find that text from the guy that was chewing me out, but I can't find it. There's another one here from somebody that says they disagree with me on something. Where did that one go? Sorry, I don't mean for dead air here. I was just trying to find this text. Rick says, I got to disagree with you. I think this audience is just like you. 3 days ahead of the mainstream media. Keep doing it just like you have been. Thank you, Rick. Richard says, talking about the St. Patty's Day parade, says, I used to be one of those to buy new. Oh, that's somebody's truck. They're talking about the float. He goes, I have a float in the parade, and even the floats have decreased by a third. Yeah, man, a lot of people aren't doing, a lot of the OG parade goers aren't doing the floats anymore. What they're doing is the Brandon Mardi Gras parade now, which is Friday, February 28th this year. And I've been saying it for a couple years now. It's the funnest parade in the city. Now, St. Patty's Day is an all-day drinking thing. The block party is awesome. It is what it is. But if we're just straight up the parade and family-friendly and the adults can have their fun too, and you ain't got to worry about the fighting and all that crap and the fire truck turning into a twerk stage, as fun as that sounds, you need to go to the one in Brandon, Friday, February 28th. All right, we got to take our last break of the day. Online audience, I'm going to ride it out with y'all, say my goodbye there. Radio audience, stay tuned. I'm going to tell everybody what's for lunch today at all of our great Blue Plate sponsors. Don't go anywhere. This is the Clay Edwards Show. You know, on this whole, moving back to Jackson thing, are selling me on Jackson. And I've talked about this a good bit, and it'll tie back into Thalia Hall. Thalia Hall was like the last thing that you had to go to Jackson for if you lived in the suburbs, if you wanted to partake in the arts. It ain't my jam. I'm not into ballet. I'm not into plays and all that Broadway stuff. Not my jam. But I don't hate people that it is. You know, everybody's got their thing. Because of the way that that place is built for the staging and production and what it's made specifically for, you can't just do that anywhere. Thalia Hall was very unique in that sense. So it kind of had a death grip on that audience if you wanted to partake in that kind of stuff. Well, the city has found a way to alienate the one group, the one thing that brought a different group of people to Jackson. Because now, beyond a shadow of a doubt, other than the hospitals, and nobody goes to the hospitals in Jackson because they're glad they're in Jackson. You got the Jacksonians making their argument, planting their flag on the hospitals as their argument is about the weakest, worst argument I've ever heard. Oh, but you got to come, all them folks live in Rankin County got to come work at the hospitals in Jackson. Well, they don't wish they did. I mean, you act like it's a good thing. Like they wake up and say, oh man, I sure am glad I work in Jackson. Anyway, now there's no valid reason to have to come to Jackson that I can't find an equal or greater than option in Rankin County or Madison. We got good restaurants now too. Of course, Jackson has great restaurants. I always want to make sure I'm not hating on the restaurants. I'm just saying that the level of entertainment and food dining options has gone from here to here in Rankin County and Madison the last decade. You just don't have to go to Jackson to partake in anything anymore. You can get those very things outside the city limits. Everything. Except the booty shaking club, but you got shuckers if you really insist. And there ain't no booty shaking club in Jackson anybody in the suburbs wants to come to. I'm just going to tell you. So Thalia Hall was kind of one of those last things that you had to go to Jackson for. I mean, look, the St. Patty's Day Parade is fun, but so is the Mardi Gras Parade in Brandon. My point, there's an equal option in other places now where you don't have to go to Jackson for it. There's always going to be people that do go to Jackson. I mean, I still go to Jackson to do stuff. I want to be able to go to Jackson. I don't want Jackson to be a third world hellhole. I want it to be a good place. That's why I do this whole show. I want Jackson to be fun. I want to see this mayor walked off doing the perp walk. So Jackson can get back right. But it ain't going to get back right if you just elect another cookie cutter Chockway. Hang tight 1 second. I got to pull something up. Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show. I told y'all I was going to tell you what was all for lunch today at our great Blue Plate, or our great restaurants that offer Blue Plate lunches. Today at both locations of Martin's, it's Thursday. Today is pot roast as your main meat available there at Martin's Downtown and Martin's Livingston. At all three Burgers Blues barbecue locations, and don't forget, Burgers Blues Barbecue now offers catering. Hit up B3 Catering, and they'll get you all that information. Today's Blue Plate special is red beans and rice with sausage, hamburger steak, and the alternating meat of the day is country fried steak. Y'all know I love my country fried steak. They were picking at me about that at Martin's yesterday when I went by for a meeting. Over on the reservoir at McBee's, Thursday, it's spaghetti day. And I was there last Thursday, and the guy beside me got spaghetti. I've never seen so much meat in spaghetti. It looked oh so good, and I may, in fact, eat that today for lunch just to break up the monotony and not eat country fried steak. All right, guys. I'll be back here tomorrow with Sean Yurkaron, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. And who knows, I may pop back up online at some point today if news breaks and it feels like I need to get on there and do something. Y'all stay blessed. Peace out. Online audience. Hang tight 1 second. All right, man. I got a few minutes here. Nobody has a show right after me today, so I can stay online for a minute if y'all want. Somebody wrote a really long comment here, and anytime people take the time to write something like this, I hope it's not a copy and paste, and it's, my goodness, I don't think I can read all this. I don't believe you actually wrote it either, but maybe it is. Bill says how America's rogue. So I was going to talk about the USAID thing. Man, that's just too long. I'll be here 10 minutes reading that, Bill, but I'll read it off air. Let's see here. All right, well, I did a bunch of show prep. Let me see if there was anything in there that I wanted to hit. I mean, I've made my point about Jackson. I hope I have. You know, the problem is I know you guys know it. This is like I had to figure out a way to dumb this down even more in short form, 90 seconds or less, and get it over to Instagram and TikTok for those idiots to be able to understand it. I'm preaching to the choir a bit. It was kind of like Kim Wade at Grip and Grin yesterday. The whole audience loved what he had to say. But the people that he's going to need to vote for him weren't necessarily in that room. So it kind of turns into a preaching to the choir type thing. I'm waiting on my notes to pull back up here. All right. Everything I did yesterday, all my notes were to talk about national stuff other than the campaign finance reports. I'll save this for tomorrow because I do want to talk about Trump. Promises made, promises kept by signing that bill yesterday that only men and women can, or only women can compete in women's sports. Love it. Common sense, man. When I had Senator Chad McMahon on here the other day, he got such a great response. He got such a great response because he just speaks in a very normal, common sense way. And people respect that, people like that, and people relate to that. We're done with all this crap. We're done with all this trans nonsense. We're done with all of it. We're done with these black for a living politicians. We're done with these far left white progressive idiots